Who knew we would be sitting here praising Christian as having one of the
I
best segments on
know.
AEW? Like
I
just a month
know.
ago, we were constantly ripping the guy, and now it's like he had one of the best segments of the night. That guy was amazing. So yeah.
Hey, wrestling fans. Welcome to the One Wayne Wrestling Podcast, where two wrestling elitists discuss or review AEW events and wrestling news from around the world. At One Wing Wrestling, our motto is We Go Where the Elite Go. I'm your host, Krishna and I, and joining me today is Mr. Bill Cupbush. Bill, how's it going?
It is going. It is going in a very hot manner because boy is it scorching hot here in Toronto
Mm-hmm.
today.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's not too bad. Just excited for tonight because wow, go home show for Forbidden Door already. Who would have thunk
Yeah.
it?
Well, lots and lots of news, lots of changes, a lot of things happening tonight, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's the card's shaping up interestingly, but we will of course
Mm-hmm.
discuss that later.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, no, it's you have a good day, your final day before the big day.
Yeah, the final couple hours now before
Yep.
the change. Yeah, no, today was great. I mean, it's really hot in Toronto, so yeah, we can feel it. However, yesterday at work, we had a work event where again they did not know what the weather was going to be like, so it ended at a rooftop patio where there was no AC or anything. And the first time meeting the CFOs and all the higher ups at the company, and I was drenched in sweat. Like literally, my shirt was stuck to me with sweat spots all over. And I made the comment to the CFO. I said, I said, hey, we're meeting you today. May as well dress up. And he's like, nope. He goes, guys, it's hot outside. You should have wore t-shirts today. I'm like, yep, now we know for next time. But
Yep.
it was scorching hot. It got to the point where they were just buying us drinks because like apparently they didn't meet the limits that they had.
Wow.
So they were like, hey, order whatever you want. But we were sweating so much that no one actually got tipsy or anything like that.
Oh wow.
And the great thing was that they paid for everyone's rides home, which was fantastic. And I thanked my Uber driver as I got in the car. I was like, thank you so much for having the AC on and blasting it in my face. I go, this is amazing. It's too hot in Toronto right now, guys. It's just way too hot in Toronto.
Although I would much rather have too hot than too cold. I still went for a walk today. And also I had to run some errands in the car. And as you may or may not remember, for the last 2 years, our car has had zero air conditioning.
Oh,
So I was running with the
that's
windows
fun.
down. Oh yeah, it was
That's
loads of
fun.
fun. Yeah. Yeah. Good times. Good times.
Cool. That being said, we should probably get into the show because there's a lot of talk
Oh
about.
yeah.
So first off, our topic that we normally start with is keeping up with the elites. So
Right.
any updates on our fave Kenny Omega or any injuries that you want to start
Um.
talking about?
Well, Kenny Omega tweeted yesterday
Mm-hmm.
that he will be at Forbidden Door, quote, spiritually or in some sort of way.
Yep.
Is he still injured?
So
Eh,
so he had some dealings with apparently he helped with the song for
mm-hmm.
Forbidden Door.
Yes,
So
he
that's
did.
that's what he kind of said. I'm gonna be there in some sort of way, right? So
Mm-hmm.
meaning the song that's gonna be there. Now, obviously,
Yes.
everyone's like, whatever. Like if he was coming back, he wouldn't say either way. But the problem with this is that it can go either way. It's he is a we know he's injured. We understand he's recovering from his injuries. So realistically, we don't actually know when he's supposed to be slated to come back, right? It's
Right.
not like John Cena returns to like in like a month or so, right? So
Right.
so it's kind of hard. Like even he tweeted the other day, like there was a match that they were showing. They were showing his match against Joey Janela, and it was the dark match where he went hardcore, and he said, I don't think I can do that anymore, right? Just the
Right.
way his body is. So yeah, no update for Kenny, but with the way Forbidden Door is shaping up a bit, I don't know. Like I hope some of these injuries are better before we get there, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Well,
because yeah, you can go ahead. You can, what do you think?
oh, I was just gonna say, I think, after we see tonight's Dynamite, maybe what we'll do at the end is talk a little bit about what we see from the Forbidden Door card,
Yeah,
just in general.
yeah, agreed,
So,
agreed.
see what it looks like at the end of tonight's show, and
Fair.
then we can figure it all out. Because yeah, I have mixed thoughts about it, but we
Mm-hmm.
will get to that later today, I suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of tonight's Dynamite, Bryan Danielson's apparently going to address his status live tonight. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. You know,
I'm thinking it's bad. I'm thinking this is bad
probably.
because do you remember when his leg got caught that day? We all thought
Yeah.
that it was a shoot because he wrestled like a little bit after that, and
Mm-hmm.
then he's never been the same again.
Right.
Did they really injure him in that stupid thing? Like I can't believe like it's so crazy. I can't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm hoping it's not that, but if it was that, like this is on you, AEW. This is unacceptable. I can't believe that
Yeah.
you would have you be and I am pointing fingers at AEW. I know it was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, accidents like look at WWE for all they do, right? And yes, we like we're not obviously going to talk about Owen Hart and stuff like that, but like for the most part, for their entire history, stupid things like that don't normally happen, right? And that's what kind of
That's
angers
true.
me. But that's what kind of angers me about
Yeah.
what like if that is the case, what injured him. That's what angers me a bit because you had that whole challenge laid out by Jack Saber, Jack. Um,
Jack Saber.
what's his first name?
Zach.
Zack Saber Jr. Which everyone was really hyped about, and I was excited. I was like, I don't know Zack Saber Jr. I know Daniel Bryan, and if these two can really go, like that'd be awesome. And now that match might be out the window. We don't know. Like obviously we're speculating here because we don't know what's gonna happen tonight.
Yep. Well, I guess we will find out. Like I said, this Forbidden Door
Yeah.
card, it all depends on this go home show tonight,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we don't know Adam Cole's status either, and we don't have Jay White with a named opponent yet. So,
So
yeah.
you know what? Quickly on Adam Cole, I think
Mm-hmm.
he's okay. I think he's fine. I think he's actually
Probably.
fine.
Yeah.
But the controversy that's happened with Adam Cole recently, where he's been under from some scrutiny. He's had this all his entire career where people are well, quote unquote, body shaming him, right? And
Yeah.
and Eddie Kingston came to his defense today, and he was like, this guy has everything. He's living his life, like he's doing everything he wants to do. So you could point fingers and say what you will, but he's a star and he is a star. So you know what? No, all I hear about this, all I hear is this sounds like people like Vince McMahon. Oh, Adam Cole, you can never make it on the main roster. Maybe you should cut your hair and become
Yeah.
a manager, right? Like just stupid crap like that. Like anyone who thinks Adam Cole's not a good wrestler, you know what? You don't deserve to watch him wrestle. And honestly, don't watch him
Yeah.
wrestle. That's the
I
whole
mean, look,
thing.
the guy's amazing. He's put on some of like
Yeah.
the most amazing matches I've seen in the last few years. He's gold on everything he touches.
Mm-hmm.
He's got personality for days.
Agreed.
He's over as heck. If some little worms want to go around, and I actually I shouldn't call them worms because really what's happening is people who are attacking him are sick.
Yeah.
They
Well.
have their own problems, you know what I mean? And I mean they should maybe take some time and take a good look in the mirror and wonder why they
Mm-hmm.
feel the need to go on the internet and snipe someone else and take someone else down when, I'm pretty sure that you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house. And to
Mm-hmm.
be quite honest, all of us own a glass house.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
and I loved Eddie Kingston's response to the whole
Yeah.
thing. It was great. And he's talking about, people tell him to hit the gym. Well, guess what? He's got enough stuff that he has his own garage, gym in the garage. So yeah, that was pretty good. So yeah, it's unfortunate people are saying those things, but the internet is the internet.
It's the internet.
Yep.
What else is there in news, Bill?
Well, quick update. On June 21st, on a New Japan Roadshow, Tomohiro Ishii defeated Clark Connors to earn his way to the All Atlantic Championship match at Forbidden Door, which means we now have Pac, Miro, Tomohiro Ishii, and either Penta, Oscuro, or Malaki Black. So we'll find out the last one tonight, but that's shaping up to be a pretty darn good match.
Go Malachi. Go Malachi.
I
That would be
know,
an
right?
awesome match.
Oh, I know. On the Sasha Banks front, there is
Hmm.
nothing new to report. The last report was that her lawyers are working out her
Yeah.
release, but that was all we have. She's been quiet, WWE's been quiet, and that's
Yeah.
about it on that
Yeah. She
front.
has made a comment like on Twitter or Instagram or wherever, where she
Yep.
posted like something in terms of like it, whatever was being said wasn't true. But all that
Mm-hmm.
can mean is that, yeah, she hasn't been fully released yet.
Right.
It's still being worked out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But all signs point to she's no longer going to be in WWE. So
Right. Right. And that's, I mean, I don't think she'll have trouble finding a career
no,
outside of WWE these
no,
days. So, yeah.
no.
But speaking of WWE, the big news hit actually, well, we were recording last week. So, on June 15th, the Wall Street Journal broke a story that Vince McMahon was under investigation. The WWE Board of Directors is investigating a $3 million settlement that Vince McMahon paid to a former employee with whom he allegedly had an affair. It should be noted this relationship was characterized as consensual. I'll just
Hmm.
do a quick rundown. I mean, most of you have probably heard about this during the week at some point, but here's what
Yep.
we know so far. In January 2022, there was a separation agreement with this employee. She was a paralegal hired in 2019. Apparently, the separation agreement, the non-disclosure agreement, was $1 million up front and $2 million over the next 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. The Wall Street Journal stated that the WWE board received anonymous emails from an alleged friend of the employee sometime at the end of March that claimed the former employee was hired at a salary of $100,000 and then moved up to $200,000 after beginning a sexual relationship with Vince McMahon. McMahon's alleged to have the email say to, quote, give her like a toy to John Laurinaitis, and claims McMahon's lawyer paid her millions to shut up. That's the, $1 to $3 million settlement.
Hmm.
She actually did move from the legal department to become John Laurinaitis' assistant in 2021. So the board began its investigation in April, and it should be noted they did hire an external firm. Simpson Thacher and Bartlett LLP is overseeing the investigation to be an independent legal counsel. There's another law firm too that Scott and Scott that is investigating if members of WWE's board of directors or senior management failed to manage WWE in an acceptable manner in breach of their fiduciary duties, and whether WWE and its shareholders have suffered damages as a result. So not only are these payments being investigated, they're being looked at in the light of fiduciary breach. They have discovered other non-disclosure agreements in the meantime involving former female employees making misconduct claims against McMahon and executive John Laurinaitis. Millions of dollars in settlements are tied up in those as well, apparently. Preliminary findings say that McMahon allegedly used his personal funds to pay the former female employees, which is a point because the allegations are about misuse of company money.
Hmm. Hmm.
McMahon's lawyer stated WWE paid no money at all and there were no allegations of harassment. Notably, after this investigation started in May, that's when Stephanie took her leave of
Yeah.
absence.
Yeah.
Business Insider reported the leave was actually executed by Vince McMahon, not voluntary on her part, and was apparently concerning performance issues. People in the company, Dave Meltzer reported at the time that something, quote, something happened after she left, clearly. The company did a total 180 on her about 2 weeks after she left. They never even did that for WWE co-presidents George Barrios and Michelle Wilson, like when they were let go. In June, Vince McMahon, as we know, has now voluntarily stepped down as chair and CEO and replaced by interim chair, coincidentally, Stephanie McMahon. But Vince has remained the head of creative. Vince has gone out on TV twice, but really said almost nothing both times, both to
Yeah.
SmackDown and Raw this week. And as of yesterday, John Laurinaitis was placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation, and Bruce Pritchard has taken over as interim head of talent relations. So we have a massive shakeup. We have an investigation of Vince McMahon for apparently misuse of funds, breaching fiduciary duties to the shareholders, that kind of thing. There's no allegations that was any sexual harassment, but this, by all accounts, assuming the allegations are correct, seems to be at the very least inappropriate behavior among the executive at the WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have, it's about not spending company money properly, right? That's a problem. But I mean, I think the main thing that's being missed when it gets deflected to just talking about the money is that we're talking about a paralegal that was working for WWE and the chairman of the board.
Yeah.
That's a power imbalance, right?
Yeah.
And it, whether or not it was consensual, how consensual can it be when the power differential is so great, and the amount of money we're talking about is so massive. I mean, for a lot of people, a doubling of their salary from 100,000 to 200,000, a $3 million payout.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's what's going on right now. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I feel that we're going to find out more information once the investigation has concluded. It's not a good look on WWE. If they come out of here unscathed, like, I mean, Vince still in charge after this, I am going to be surprised, but maybe not shocked. It's an interesting topic that's happened right now in AEW, not AEW, in WWE. So I don't know what's going to happen. Like, honestly, like, I'm kind of hoping, Vince, you've had a good run. Maybe it's time you do just step down and, like, go retire somewhere and enjoy your money, whatever, and let Triple H or someone else take over.
Right.
But yeah, this is serious stuff. And if it is, like, if this is the reason Stephanie left, then she has to know something's up, that something, like, this is wrong, right? She wouldn't have just left to just spend time with her family. Something's up here. So yeah, I feel like there's more to the story, and more is going to come out before this is over.
Right, if we ever get to see it. I mean, generally
That's true.
these reports and investigations are confidential, but I
That's
mean,
true.
maybe someone can leak a copy to the press or something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think what's really sticking out here too is the obvious signs of a power struggle within. There's two things. The
Mhm.
obvious signs of a power struggle, right? I mean, Stephanie leaves, and rather than just letting her go, they try to discredit her,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
leads me to believe her leaving was not all rosy and hunky-dory. I
Yeah.
wonder, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall of that boardroom when she was making the decision to leave and when she gave her actual reasons to the board as to why she was leaving. I think that would have been very, very interesting to hear, because, there's been some very interesting power things going on, like previously with the whole dismantling of the black and yellow
Mhm.
NXT,
Mhm.
Paul Levesque with his health problems, that's Triple H, with his health problems. And it's very interesting right now what's going on. And I think it'll be interesting to see what happens overall. I think, too, that what I'm hopeful comes out of this is the final last, maybe some of the last vestiges of that wrestling culture that was just so the thing that leads to things like the plane ride from hell, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That
Exactly.
kind of wrestling culture, I'm really hoping this is one way to root it out from, because what's going on in the executive can reflect in the rest of the
Mhm.
roster, right? Can
Mhm.
reflect in the rest of the talent. And if they condone this behavior among themselves, what are they going to condone in the locker room?
Exactly. I
So,
100% agree with that.
assuming that these allegations have any bearing in reality. I
True.
mean,
Very
again,
true.
these are
Very true.
allegations. They haven't been proven. We're
Very
still
true.
waiting for reports. There's a lot of indications of something very bad going on here, but, we got to withhold judgment till we have final say. So,
Exactly.
anyway, but
Exactly.
now I think we can safely turn to a company that does not have these problems and puts on better wrestling shows.
Agreed.
So, it is the Go Home Dynamite, and we have quite a few matches
Mhm.
for us to take a look at. So and a lot of talking. There's a
Yeah.
lot of talking on tonight's show. So, but let's start off with we hear from Christian.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are liking this, the bad Christian, and maybe I'll like this too. But I want to. He's obviously going to talk about his turn on Jungle Boy, why he did it, set up a match. I don't think the match is going to happen at Forbidden Door, because Forbidden Door already has a lot of matches, probably a Blood and Guts or something like that. But yeah, we're gonna find out why he did what he did, and then we're gonna get a feud between Christian and Jungle Boy. So I'm actually excited to see Jungle Boy just take him apart.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm actually somewhat excited to see heel Christian. I
Mhm.
like where this was going. I think he's a lot more entertaining as a heel than he is as his candy face that he tries to play,
Yeah,
where he's like
agreed.
looking for audience people and where's my peeps and blah, blah, blah. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think he's going to be far more interesting now. It's not going to change his wrestling, and it's not like he's terrible. He's just mid.
Yeah,
And
true.
mid is not what I want to watch in a wrestling match.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
you know who's not mid?
Who's
Bryan
that?
Danielson. And he's addressing his status for Forbidden Door, as we mentioned earlier, and the Blood and Guts match.
Yeah, so this is where I think he is injured severely, and he's not going to be back for like probably a month the 2 months now, because Blood and Guts is coming up like in a couple weeks. So really,
Mm-hmm.
that's why he's addressing both of these things. Is that
Ooh, that's a good point.
he's gonna be out. He's out. Like I think that's just it. He's out for those two events, because those are the big ones. Because yeah, him and Moxley and Kingston, like they're part of Blood and Guts. You don't easily replace Bryan Danielson, right?
No.
So that's kind of I don't like that. Obviously, you know, I want Danielson to get better. That's the most important thing, but it kind of sucks. He's not going to be part of these events.
Yeah, and that's really unfortunate because I was
Yeah.
really looking forward to, as I've mentioned the last couple of weeks, Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Holy crap, what a match that would have been. But I think you're right. There's a small part of me that's really hoping that this is him coming out going, yeah, I'm all better and this is totally on and Zack Sabre Jr., it's
Yeah.
going and blah, blah, blah. But no, I got a sneaking feeling that the signs point to, oh, and
Yep.
we're going to end up with no Bryan Danielson at either event.
Yeah. Which is changing again, which is changing the outlook of that event, which we'll talk about later today. But
Yep.
yeah, AEW better pull something out of a hat or something like that because
Yep.
things aren't looking that great right now. But anyways, we'll talk about that later.
Yes. Speaking of not looking that great, and sorry I shouldn't give my opinion before I announce it, but at 9:30 p.m. tonight we're going to get Toni Storm versus Marina Shafir.
Yeah, again, this is gonna be a mess of a match. I don't care for the match. I've obviously tried to give both these wrestlers the benefit of the doubt, but they seem so green still. I think this is gonna be the worst match of the night.
Right. And think about this for just a quick second, right? Earlier today, I sent you a GCW match from the
Mm-hmm.
weekend. Nick
Mm-hmm.
Wayne, who's 16 years old, versus
Yeah.
Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's only been in the business a few years.
Yep.
And the guy is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got another like really solid wrestler in the making, assuming his career continues on its way. To wrestle Will Ospreay the way he did in that match, and if you guys haven't seen it, by all means go find it and check out this match because it is a great match.
Yep.
My point relating this to Toni Storm is she's how many years a veteran, been wrestling since she was
Yeah.
15, etc. And is still like hasn't convinced me she's great. You know,
Yeah.
she's done better the last couple weeks, but she's still not at that level of like a Britt Baker or Serena Deeb or Hikaru Shida. She's none of them. So what's going on? And then Marina Shafir, I mean, green as heck, right? I
Yeah.
mean, she's only wrestled, and you know, it's not entirely her fault. She's barely been a wrestler,
Yeah.
right? I mean, she's got about as much experience, maybe less than Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
So, you know, train wreck.
Train wreck, but you know what? Like you think about it, like just by saying that, like look at the Jade Cargill matches. As much as you may not like it, she's not as bad as these two in the ring.
No, you're right. She's not. Well, no, I think Toni Storm is at least as good as Jade Cargill, but I'm not that impressed with Jade Cargill. But Jade Cargill's better than Marina Shafir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think putting Toni Storm, who I think she needs an opponent who's at a higher caliber than her to look good in a match. I think putting her with Marina Shafir is just going to make Toni Storm look terrible.
Yep.
And yeah, I can't see this being good at all.
Yep.
So, however, speaking of probably the exact opposite, we have Penta Oscuro versus Malachi Black in an All Atlantic Championship qualifying match.
This will be a good match. Like this will be a really good match. Like I love Malachi Black and Penta's awesome. I really do want Malachi to win this match. I want to see him at the pay-per-view. Penta himself, like he's been on these larger pay-per-views, right? So I don't know which way this is going. I do want to see Malachi Black there, but we'll see. This is going to be a good match, though.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It's going to be a really good match. Penta's great. Malachi's amazing. I'm excited to watch this match. I think Malachi's going to win as well because, you know, Penta won't be in the other match with his Death Triangle buddy Pac, right?
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to put both of them in the match. So I think we can safely assume Malachi's probably winning this one. But either way, this is going to be a really good match.
agreed. Okay.
I don't think it's going to be match of the night,
No,
but it does
no.
have a dark horse chance of
Yeah,
being the match of the night. You know, it could be. Will there be shenanigans? Probably.
yeah.
And that will knock it down a notch or two. I like non-shenanigans matches. Then we have In what is probably the main event on the night, given the participants, Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Chris Jericho and Lance Archer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really excited for this match, to be honest with you. I like you just named off wrestlers, and even though last week I said, props to Chris Jericho, he really impressed me last week. I was so shocked with that
Mm-hmm.
match he put on. It's just that Jon Moxley is not my style of wrestler, right? I haven't really seen Tanahashi wrestle. And Lance Archer, like, well, yeah, I like Lance Archer. He's a big guy, but again, not really my style of wrestling, right? Like the Ospreay slash like Omega and stuff like that, and Bucks. So I think this match is going to be okay. I would say this is probably going to be the third best match. I think it's only 4 matches, but it's going to be the third best match of the night. But yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, it's got to be better than Tony Storm.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah,
right. Yeah. No, I think this matchup might be slightly better than we think it will be.
okay.
I mean, if we get Tanahashi versus Jericho in the ring, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Okay.
I think you'll be hopefully pleasantly surprised by
Well, we'll
Tanahashi,
see.
or are we
We'll
gonna have
see.
to wait and see if at Forbidden Door? But
Mhm.
I've seen Tanahashi put on some there's just phenomenal matches in his career. But you're right. I don't dislike Moxley. He's got his place. I mean, he can be a
Mhm.
really good wrestler to put against someone. He's got good moves. He always looks sharp in the ring, right? I mean, it's just like you said, he's not really my style of wrestler either. He's good. I enjoy his matches. He's way better than he was in WWE. I don't hate his matches. There's been some where I'm like, whoa, that was a really good match. So, and Lance Archer, I mean, for a big guy, if I have to watch a big guy, I'd rather they were the Lance Archer type. Just he kills people and he's
Mhm.
really good in the ring,
Mhm.
which is key. He's not just like, I'm gonna thump people, So he's not the great Kali or someone like that. Or who's that other basketball player they got now whose name
Oh,
is
Satnam
Satnam
Singh.
Singh? Yes, whatever. And that leaves us to match number 4. I may almost have gone in reverse order. We have Will Ospreay and Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis, versus Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice, Trent Beretta and Rocky
Yeah.
Romero.
Yeah. So I mean, like, obviously, you add Osprey in this match. I'm already like, I'm excited for this, right? I think this is obviously going to be the match of the night. Now, Fletcher and Davis, you know what? I've seen them wrestle. Like I've seen them in the trios match they had a couple weeks back. They're okay. They're good. But I mean, they're no Will Ospreay. Like let's be real here, right? And I want to see Cassidy and Ospreay in the ring together, right? Because Cassidy again with that whole he doesn't care about anything. He's just like there. Like it's such a good match. Like I'm just happy to see Orange Cassidy back. I didn't like it got to the point where he was gone. I didn't even realize he was gone for such a long time. When he came back, I'm like, oh my god, Orange Cassidy,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Again, match of the night, hands down. I think that's what it's going to be, and I'm excited. Like again, we're saying that if this is it, right, and they don't make any other announcements, Forbidden Door is going to look a lot different than what we assumed it was going to
Yeah,
be, right?
well, yeah, no kidding, right? I mean, okay, so we've got I think this match, I
Mhm,
agree with you.
mhm.
Most likely the match of the night. I think all of I wanted to call them Forbidden Empire. Why am I suddenly forgetting? United Empire, the
United.
Forbidden Empire. The United Empire. I think they're all quite good. I really like Aussie Open. Will Ospreay is another level above entirely.
Mhm.
I also am excited to see Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy. Like I said last week, it's the match I didn't know I wanted till I saw them together in the ring, and then went, okay, this is I can see this. And Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero, they're both extremely good in the ring. So I think this is going to be one of those matches where a lot happens and a lot happens very quickly. And I think it's going to have some good story moments. I think it's going to have some good comedy moments with Orange Cassidy in there. But what I love, and I've said this before about Orange Cassidy's comedy, is he doesn't overdo it. It has
Yeah.
its place in the match, but he can get serious. And when he does get serious, he can kick ass in the ring. So, there's a big difference between someone who is completely comedic like a Danhausen and someone who has a comedy bit but can wrestle their pants off. like Orange
Agreed.
Cassidy, and knows when to be serious and
Yeah.
just, get it. We've seen him get angry. We've seen him get fired up. It's pretty great. So that is our card tonight. I think we're going to get a lot of stuff on the spur of the moment tonight. I think we're going to get
Hopefully.
stuff sprung on us big time. I think Jay White's got to show up and make an announcement, doesn't he?
Hangman's not even any matches coming up for Forbidden Door. So I'm assuming Hangman's going to show up again and kind of be like, I'm here to challenge someone at Forbidden Doors. And you're right, Jay White has to make his announcement who he's going to fight. Adam Cole. Who's Adam Cole going to fight if it's not Jay White?
Where are the Young Bucks on this
Where
card?
are the Young Bucks? Who are they fighting?
Can you imagine Forbidden Door happening without the Young Bucks?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And that's absolutely ridiculous. And that's why I'm kind of like, there seem to be like, I hope Excalibur is gonna run through tons of matches like for Forbidden Door.
I know, like inhale and exhale 3 amazing matches at once. Yeah.
But I checked the pay-per-view stats for Forbidden Door, and it starts at 8 o'clock and it goes till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Holy gods of war.
Yeah, so that's the time slot. Again, that's the time slot they have. Now, obviously, they're probably not going to use that entire time, but they can use a lot of that time, right?
Yep.
So the matches they've announced so far, yeah, okay, they're good, but nothing. But so far, again, nothing that's really, oh my god, this is going to sell all of the pay-per-view buys and stuff like that. So that's what's concerning me right now.
I know all those dream matches we talked about. I mean, the only one that's even remotely that fans kind of wanted was Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi, and I would have taken CM Punk and Hiroshi Tanahashi before that in my sleep. So there's been some unfortunate injuries. There's been some problems. What are we going to get? And I guess we're going to find out in a few minutes, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So why don't we go find out? Let's go watch ourselves some Go Home Show Dynamite. We'll be back very soon. And that was Dynamite. We are back with you yet again as we just watched that Go Home Show of AEW Dynamite from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yes, and we opened the show immediately with Bryan Danielson's music hitting, and out he comes to the ring.
And it was exactly what we thought was going to happen. Bryan Danielson is out, and he's out for the pay-per-view, and he's out for Blood and Guts. So he's injured. I mean, you know what? The one thing I was like, they need to let Bryan Danielson talk some more. He hasn't talked. He hasn't talked a lot since what's his name? Regal showed up, but. Yeah, he really hyped up the crowd, and I love the fact at the end he's like, "I'm bad guy. I came out the heel entrance." So he's like, "I'm not gonna tell you who's gonna be replacing me." And I'm like, "Oh, Danielson, you're so awesome. You're so awesome, right?" But yeah, it's he's out. Great promo by Danielson. I kind of miss him already, unfortunately. And he's not going to name his opponent. His opponent is going to show up at Forbidden Door, and a little nugget they threw in at the end was that the opponent is going to be the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. So I'm like, who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be like a Johnny Gargano or someone showing up? Like I'm so confused right now who it's gonna be. And the wrestler is also going to fight in his place at Blood and Guts. So that was also the second thing they said. So cool promo by Danielson. But yeah, it was what we expected. It was the worst, right? He is going to be out for both events. Kind of sucky. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. What do you think about it?
Yeah, what a promo. What a promo. I mean, he's so good at capturing the crowd, and he was hyping up the pay-per-view so much. What a great time this to be a wrestling fan, right? I was right on top of the whole thing. And because of the intensity of the promo, for a brief moment there, I was like, he's okay. He's going to be wrestling. He's hyping this so much. And he's like, yeah, well, except I can't do it. So, but I got someone. And the minute I wrote it, I have in like large letters, holy in my book. Because I'm like, who is this going to be? I love the way he played the crowd. Who, right? It was so good. The greatest technical wrestler in the world. And he said the guy who's getting it can go toe-to-toe with the greatest technical wrestler in the world, but then turn around and do Blood and Guts. I don't think it's Johnny Gargano.
Oh,
As
okay.
technical as Johnny can be, I don't think he's at that, especially when it comes to the blood and guts side. Not totally sure it's Johnny Gargano. I am going to go out on a limb, not a very large limb, and say who I thought was going to be joining the Blackpool Combat Club a few weeks back. This is Cesaro's debut in AEW.
Oh, maybe you're right. I
And
think you might be right.
Cesaro versus Zack Sabre Jr. Oh my God.
Yeah, Cesaro would be an
Oh,
actually a pretty cool
yeah, that's who I
entrance.
think we're getting.
Yeah.
And it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I could that might be the actual person. Didn't think about it, but yeah, it might actually be him. It'll be good if it's him. You know what? I guess we're gonna find out.
We will find out in just a few
Few
days.
days.
Yep. Then we had a John Moxley promo hyping up the main event for tonight.
And also for Tanahashi on Sunday. Yeah, he
Yes,
did his
yes.
job. John Moxley is a great talker. Again, hyping up tonight's main event kind of thing, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I mean, it was good. It was a promo. I was more concerned about what was going to be happening later on in the night, but we got to that. So I thought it was a good promo.
Yeah, it was fine. It did what it was supposed to do. He hyped the match, and like you said, he hyped Sunday. It was very John Moxley style, like gonna hurt people, etc. So yeah, it was fine. Then we had Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice taking on Will Ospreay and Aussie Open.
It was great to see Mox. I'm sorry, Osprey and his crew versus Roppongi Vice and Cassidy. The crowd was going crazy for Cassidy. Like this is his AEW return. Crowd was going nuts for him. It did its job. It was fun. I went back and forth with this and another match to what was my match of the night, and I had said this was going to be the one, and I'm going to stick with it. This one was fantastic. I think, which what kind of drove me over the top for this one was the fact that the tag team moves were so well executed, right, by both sides. Watching these guys flip and everything they were doing, I'm like, wow, these, like, Rocky Romero, I never really give him much credit, but he's really good. He's really, really good. And it was great to see Cassidy win. I could have predicted this one because I think Cassie's losing at the pay-per-view. There's no way that New Japan's gonna have their new champion. Well, one of the new champions. I think he's the TV champion. Is that what he is?
No, he's the U.S. champion.
U.S. champion. Yeah, there's no way they're gonna let him lose versus Cassidy. So I think it was great having Cassidy win. Like, obviously, Orange Cassidy losing at the pay-per-view is not going to hurt him at all. He's back. Everyone's just shocked that he's back and they're seeing him wrestle again. So he had his fun, like, as only Orange Cassidy can do. And yeah, it was a fun match, and I absolutely loved it.
My match of the night as
Yeah.
well. And I called it before, but I thought when I said it was going to be match of the night before, I thought it was going to be
Mhm.
for different reasons. But you were
Mhm.
dead on when you said this. The tag team moves in this one were so good. Aussie Open, because you were saying, oh
Yeah,
yeah, Aussie Open's pretty good. Holy crap.
they're really good.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, this showcased them so well. There were so many good combos. They're fast, they're precise, and you put them in there with guys like Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy, and they know how to sell. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole thing was just, it was, bang, there was so much going on too at points in this match, right? It was just like crazy sometimes how much was going on. There was none of that, next level, oh my God, craziness, except the one moment that put this over the edge and got me going, oh my God, Sunday is going to be insane. And that was that moment when Ospreay and Orange Cassidy, they only fought for a few seconds. They intelligently kept them apart. And then the one time they did meet, Ospreay gets him off the ropes, gets him up, and Orange Cassidy reverses it into that stun dog millionaire. And I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
holy
That was nuts. That
crap,
was nuts. Yeah.
that was insane.
Yeah.
And that was just like 5 seconds of them.
Yep.
And that was it. That's almost all you got with the two of them connecting in this whole match. So well executed on their part to hype you for that match on Sunday. Like, here's just a snippet of what you might expect to get on Sunday, right?
Yep.
I think these two are going to put on maybe the match of the night Sunday.
Maybe.
It's
maybe.
possibility because they're both that good.
Yeah.
But this is why this is my match of the night. It served its
Hmm.
purpose as a match on a go home show beautifully. Got you hyped for the match coming up on Sunday, and we got some really good wrestling in amongst it. And you had the right outcome. Orange Cassidy and his coming back to AEW wins with the orange punch. You
Yep.
know, perfect, beautiful. And Ospreay didn't take the pin.
No,
Right.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And then, of course, you had the shenanigans at the end where the rest of United
Everyone
Empire
else
comes
came out. Yeah.
out and everyone in FTR comes out and they all stare down because everyone's got to get ready for the match on the pay per view. But it's just more pay per view hype, right? That's fine. So, this is, I think, where you got the TV title thing because we
Hmm.
immediately flipped to the back for irrelevant promo of the night #1, which was sorry, I'm editorializing my commentary. Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and their manager, whose name I completely forget.
Oh, you're talking about Sanjay Dutt.
Thank you, Sanjay Dutt. And they called out Samoa Joe essentially for the TV title. They want their title back, and Samoa Joe is ducking them.
Yeah, that was it. That was literally it. And they kind of congratulated Satnam Singh on his in-ring debut. I think he had a debut and it was awesome, apparently, according to them. And that was it. It was like just Samoa Joe, we're calling you out for ducking apparently an injury. And they're like, if you can't wrestle, you have to give a belt and all this other stuff. So yeah, again, no one
Yep.
cares. Like,
Yeah, well, I don't. I'm sure there are people who do care. Jay Lethal's
true.
mom cares.
That's true. That's very true. She does. She probably does care a
Yes.
lot.
And then JR says, and now we're going to have a word from our sponsor, DraftKings. And here in Canada, we cut straight to a Burger King commercial,
Yeah.
which I thought was very, they're both
King.
kings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect king.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, when we come back, Christian comes out to the ring.
Wow. Like you had said, you're excited to see heel Christian.
Mm-hmm.
The things that came out of this guy's mouth, right?
Yep.
It totally trumped anything MJF said without swearing or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally, like when he said, talking about his mother and how I think his mom has the hots for me, but I'm not here to be your father. You have a father and he's dead. I was like, are you kidding me right now?
I know,
I'm like,
right?
Jungle Boy, okay. Like Christian Cage just became the biggest heel in it. And I love the fact, do you notice Christian's little jab? If you don't think you're getting paid enough.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's like, do something about it. He's like, there's a reason why there are pay-per-views named after him. And he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
Definitely not wrong. And I'm like, this promo was perfect. Perfect. I was like, wow, Christian, I just want to applaud him. And even at the end, when Luchasaurus comes out and he calms him down, he's like, we gotta talk. He turns around, that little smirk he gives at the camera. I'm like, wow, Christian, this is like, I love it. I love it. You did exactly what you needed to do. You became one of the biggest heels. Again, I could not believe what you said and how you said it. But wow, just wow. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, it was a combination of textbook heel with like stuff that actually made sense. He's like, he took me out of the casino battle royal. That's where this started. A year ago when he took me out of it, and he cost me all that money.
Yep.
Right. And then he's talking about going on social media and the cesspool that these fans, and that's when he went on about you guys thinking, and I think some of this is probably legitimate, right? The fans going, why are you being pushed?
Yeah.
Why are you going for these titles? You don't deserve these titles. So there's probably like, the best promos are based in real life. So I thought it was really funny when the fans were chanting, shut the up Adam. The camera cut to like a 10-year-old kid chanting it.
I took a note of that. I'm like, good job, AEW, cutting to the kid saying, shut the F up.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Come on, guys. Like, have some class. Like, you obviously are in the gorilla position. You're seeing the cameras out in the truck, guys. You don't cut to that shot. That was just dumb. And I love JR's response. We are live.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like you might not want to be showing that, guys. Hello. Yeah. Oh, but my other favorite was, when he was talking about them telling him how to do his job as a wrestler, and he goes, "You don't see me going up to the drive-through window
and
telling you
telling
how
her
to
to
do
do
your
yours. Yeah.
job."
No, no. As I
I
said,
I
perfect
laughed. This
promo.
was oh, it was just so good, so good,
Yeah.
and even up to the father comment because look, Luke Perry has been dead for a long time. Okay,
Yes.
this is not
Yes.
like last year, right?
No.
So I can see how Jungle Boy would likely be okay with this because it is something that the family's probably dealt with, and yeah, it was done in a way because he said, he didn't cut Luke Perry up. He
No.
said he'd be embarrassed and ashamed of you.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not even saying, well, it's good your father's dead or something. I'm glad he's dead because he's above this, he'd
Yeah.
be embarrassed and ashamed of you. Who the heck is Margot?
Hmm?
Because that's what he said to Luchasaurus. Remember
No, no,
Margot?
no, 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 no. He
Is
didn't
it
say He said it's Marco. Marco
Marco?
stunt.
Oh,
Stunt.
yeah.
He's
Okay,
like,
now it
remember
makes
what? He's
sense.
like,
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
what happened to Marco?
Yes,
I was
yes.
like, oh no, he's drawing from real life here.
Yeah.
So I think he's trying to turn everyone against Jungle Boy by saying he wants the spotlight. He's the reason why Marco's gone. He's the reason
Oh,
why
yeah,
you're going to
yeah,
be
yeah,
gone
yeah,
soon
yeah,
too,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? So
Okay,
it's
yeah.
smart on Christian's
Yeah,
part by
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that.
See, I was like, Margot.
Yeah.
Martha, why did you say that name?
Why'd you say that
Yeah,
name?
yeah.
Why did you say that name?
Exactly. So yeah, no, that was the whole, and right up to that, like you said, that smirk at the end. I loved this promo. It was one of my favorite segments of the night.
It was
So
awesome.
good.
It was
Yep.
absolutely awesome.
Yep. And then we cut backstage to more awesome with the Young Bucks and Kyle O'Reilly.
Yes, Kyle. I love how like the Young Bucks are just like still so happy
Yep.
that they have the belts, and then cutting to O'Reilly, who's like, "Well, I'm not doing that good."
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. His tag team partners out.
Yeah. So now it's apparently a Forbidden Door. It's going to be a Bullet Club reunion for like the last time apparently, versus Sting and Darby and two other people they're choosing. I didn't think O'Reilly was in the match. I don't think he is because I think it's just
He's not.
4-on-4, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so that's a disappointment actually. Not having Kyle O'Reilly in that match because he's fantastic. Yeah, you know what? The Bucks are in. That's great. Like you can't have a pay-per-view without the Bucks. And I love how Matt Jackson was like, we've been getting asked all week, who are the Young Bucks gonna fight? Are they part of the Forbidden Door? Of course we are.
Right.
So
Well, they're like, we're the ones who
Bucks.
opened the door, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're the ones that cut the key to open the door.
Yeah.
So the Bucks are fantastic. I'm just happy that they're on the pay-per-view now.
Yes. Did you see Being the Elite this week? The
No,
Dark
I
Order
didn't.
segment where they're trying to find out where the door is because they want to close it. They're tired of all these people coming through the door, so they're trying to close it. And they're like, who might know where the door is? It'd be Hangman, right? And Hangman walks behind them, but there's like nothing behind them except the back of like the janitor closet. And they're like,
Yeah.
where were you going, Hangman? He's like, well, I needed a broom. So then they have to talk to him about closing the forbidden door.
Oh, okay.
It was really funny. Anyway, so I liked the promo too. I like the fact the Bucks, because without the Bucks on this, it was going to be just sad.
Yes, agreed.
Young Bucks on this. Their tag team partners are good. Al Fantasma and Hikuleo. They're both quite solid. We found out later in the night that we were getting Los Ingobernables as the tag team partners for Sting and Darby. I'm glad I was able to pronounce that somewhat okay. It's Hiromu Takahashi and Shingo Takagi, Los Ingobernables. They're both quite good. I've seen them wrestle. So I think it's going to be a solid match. I think the best moments, of course, will be when Darby's in there with Nick Jackson.
Yeah, fair. That's true.
But, I mean, there's going to be a lot of good stuff going on. I would have preferred just a Bucks match against someone else, but they seem to be stacking up these matches, as we will continue to find out later. Speaking of stacked up matches, we had Malaki Black versus Penta Oscuro.
Yeah, this was a great match. Like this, as I said, this was like uh, this would be the second best match of the night, and it definitely was Malaki Black. Every time I see this guy, like he does things, and I'm like, did he do that before? Did he do these flips? I've never seen these things before, right? And he's always impressing me. I love how they played off Penta. He couldn't lift him, he couldn't get his moves off and stuff like that, and literally came down to like just one hit, right, is what ended the match, and obviously, we were correct. Malaki won. But as great as this match was, and then Pac coming out, the promo hit, right? The promo, the end of this match. And it was Miro. And my God, this guy's good. My God, he's amazing. Like the fact he calls him out, he's like, my God is testing me. And he's like, all I want is my God, my beautiful wife. And he said something else. Oh, and the gold. That's what he said he wanted, right? And he's like, I'm being tested. And he's like, are your God sending you after me? I'm like, yo, Miro, you're amazing. Like, honestly, at this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with Miro winning this belt. Like, I want Malaki to win it. I really do. But I'm like, I'm good with Miro winning this belt because he needs something like this to just continue on in like his rampage. And it was such a good promo to end it, because I'm like, holy crap.
He's going to drag the bastards and the pagans behind
The
him.
pagans.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all in for this match. I can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's seriously that the four guys that are in this match are all amazing. It's going to be incredible wrestling. They've got incredible personalities in this match. That promo by Miro at the end was amazing. But to back up to the match itself, the match was solid.
Mhm.
I like you liked the storytelling around Penta hurting his back early in the match, and then that affected his ability in the whole match, right up to the point where he couldn't lift Malaki. Though he did get that really awesome looking avalanche fear factor.
From the rope.
Yeah, that just looked like it killed Malaki. It was that was awesome. But they really need to name Malaki Black's finisher in AEW, because they just keep calling it the spinning heel kick.
Oh yeah.
It's the black mass. Can we call it something, please? I don't know, like skull face of destruction. I don't know, just anything other than spinning heel kick. Oh no, he hit him with the spinning heel kick. It's like I was watching Free Guy the other day, and the character I really liked in it was the dude, because he was this half finished video game character. Yep. And so he'd be like, catchphrase.
Yeah.
Because no one had inserted his that this is how I feel like it is right now with Malaki. Like, someone created his finisher and then just didn't put a name in, and it's still holding the generic name of the move in there. So yeah. They really need to name his finisher. And then the Miro promo, amazing, hyped for the match, can't wait. This was also my number 2 match of the night. So then we got the only appearance of Wardlow on the whole show. It was one of my happiest days ever. The Wardlow promo.
And he just again just reminded everyone that he's going after Scorpio Sky in the belts, and he wants Scorpio Sky to heal up and be ready to enter Wardlow's world.
Wardlow's world. It's a theme park that no one wants to go to.
I was like, okay, that's the best thing to come up with.
Wardlow's world. It's like the AEW Galaxy, but it's just one of the planets in it. So no one wants to go there because it's Wardlow's world, right? Anyway, we then had Adam Cole come out for commentary, and we got a match added to the card that we didn't get a chance to discuss earlier. Hangman Page versus Silas Young of Ring of Honor. The thing about Silas Young is he came out, I'm like, I swear I know this guy. I swear I've seen this guy before. Right? Like, I know this, like, I've heard his name before, obviously, but I'm like, I know I've seen him somewhere. And I literally spent the first 3 or 4 minutes of this match, like, looking up, like, events I've gone to, and he wasn't on any of them. But, like, I swear I've seen this guy live somewhere. It was driving me nuts for about 3 minutes in. But anyway, other than that, what'd you think of the match?
It was good. Like, as I said before, like, the Hangman matches are actually very good, and I've stopped saying it's not Hangman, because 100% it's Hangman now. So I always enjoy Hangman matches. So anytime he's included in a match, it's great. And apparently, like, him and this guy have had battles in Ring of Honor before, so, and you could tell they worked well together. Like, even some of the moves where I thought they botched a little bit, they still recovered from the move. Like that one time where he did that move, where the guy did the move where he kind of did the kind of the flip that Kenny does onto the rope, and he kind of missed it, but then he
Right.
got in the rope and he kind of did this bounce. I'm like, holy crap! Like
Yep.
that was fantastic. Like so, I enjoyed the match. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was this is the number 3 match of the night for me. Just FYI, this is the number 3 match of the night for me.
Yes.
And I just thought, again, Hangman, applause to you. You're always great. Yeah. Before we go into what happened afterwards, what do you think about the match?
Yeah, the match was good, right?
Mhm.
It was hard hitting. It had a good pace to it. You could tell these guys have good chemistry. You know, there was a lot of back and forth. It was just, you know, and they both were just pulling moves out of nowhere. You know, or like there were explosive moments in the match. Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. And you're right, Hangman is a really good wrestler.
Yes.
I'm not going to put him quite at the level of a Bryan Danielson or anyone like that yet, or a Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay, but he's like a 1B now. You know what I mean? He's definitely proven himself as someone who is really entertaining to watch in a wrestling match, and I'm happy to see him when he gets to wrestle. So
Yeah.
that's a big change from a year ago when I was like, man, Hangman's kind of boring. But I don't know what he's done, but he's really stepped his game up. Maybe it's because he goes and looks for brooms in broom closets now. I don't know. But yeah, no, he won this one clean with the buckshot lariat, of course. And then we get into some after match stuff with Adam Cole grabbing the mic and declaring Adam Cole's story time.
Yeah, declaring Adam Cole story time. He gets interrupted by Switchblade, who I can get Jay White. There you go, Jay White. And Jay White apologizes. He says, he owes it an explanation as to why he didn't offer Cole the shot at the belt. And he said, you lost to this guy twice, right?
Yeah.
And then he went in the ring and he was kind of mouthing off to Adam Cole.
Adam Page.
Sorry, Adam Page. And then Adam Page just punched him in the face and started fighting. And then Cole jumped in the ring and was helping, Jay White beat down Adam Page. And at one point, Cole picked up the belt and looked like he was going to smash Jay White in the face with the belt. And then when Jay turned around, he's kind of like, well, what the hell's going on? And he's like, no, pick him up, pick up Page. I'll hit him with the belt. And as he did that, this music hit. And when the music hit, I was like they showed the fans, and I'm like, they clearly know who's coming out. I don't recognize this music.
I knew who was coming out.
And the fans, I love the fans' expression because they're like, what the? And they were shocked. And then Kazuchika Okada, sorry, comes out. And I was like, okay, all right, here we go. Now, this is where I was very torn. This is where, personally, I was torn. I was so happy to see Okada come out. I was so happy to see him do the save for Adam Page. But in the back of my mind, all I kept thinking was, oh no, Kenny Omega is not coming back at Forbidden Door. And sadness took over. And as much as the rest of the night they were trying to hype stuff, like they eventually announced the 4-way match for the IWGP Championship. All I could think of again was Kenny Omega is not coming back at Forbidden Door. And again, sadness. There's part of me that, as much as I'm happy about this pay-per-view, part of me is just not in it right now. And 100% has to do with Kenny Omega not being there. And yeah. I was so torn by the ending of this. I was happy and then sad at the same time.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I didn't quite experience to the same level of sadness you did, because I think I had reconciled myself to, the original report from Meltzer said October.
Probably correct. Yeah.
I was hopeful, but Kenny's tweets have been pretty clear. He's going to be there in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
He really hasn't said or done anything.
No.
There was some minor teasing last week where maybe Jay White would be challenging someone else, and we were hoping it was Kenny. Yeah, and then Okada was going to get Hangman, but okay, so now we're going to get a 4-way with Okada, Hangman Page, Adam Cole, and
Jay White.
Jay White. Thank you. Sounds like a good match to me. There's a lot of really solid pairings there. We got 4 world-class wrestlers in the ring. You can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah. And we know Jay White's gonna win this match. I'm starting.
Is he?
He is. I'm starting to question how many belt changes there actually going to be. And I'm looking at it, and I don't think there are going to be any belt changes. Now there is going to be one. There's guaranteed one, and we'll talk about that in a second. It's the tag team. There has to be one, obviously, right? Because all the belts are on the line for that one. But besides that, I'm finding it very hard to believe any other belts are changing. But I mean, we can talk about that in our pre-show for next for Sunday. But yeah, again, I was happy to see this match, but I am taking out of it a bit.
Yep. And I'm sure the news from the next segment really took you out of it when the baddies announced that Red Velvet was injured, and they're now have you already sent in your tweet?
I've sent in my tweets already, and I kept it PG as they requested.
Yep.
I thought this was just a ridiculous segment, though the follow-up segment I actually laughed at. But like this was just a stupid segment, and I was like, oh, okay. So now part of me was kind of like, okay, now this may be good, and the reason I'm saying this may be good, and again, this is all up in the air. I'm just making stuff up off the top of my head here. They never said when this baddie is going to be announced.
Right. For this baddie, we never actually said it. There's a baddie search going on. That's what I was talking about with the tweet.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they never said that when this new baddie was going to be announced. So, hey, there's a top female wrestler who's going to be available very, very shortly.
No.
I'm just saying, if you want a new leader of that group, then
yeah, but Jade Cargill's the leader, and there's no way they're going to bring Sasha Banks to serve under Jade Cargill as one of her cronies.
If they need a new leader, there's no way Sasha Banks is going to be a crony. Like, she would be the leader. It would be like how what's his name, Brody Lee came in and took over the Dark Order kind of thing. Like he was the exalted one, right? So again, I'm just making stuff up. But yeah, this segment was stupid. I didn't like it. But the segment that followed up like immediately after, I think it was a commercial break, and then the other segment came on, right?
Yeah. And then, I mean, I wasn't real big on the first segment either, because we know how I feel about the baddies. They're one of the worst groups, and again, Buddy still didn't show me he's any kind of a hype man, because now he's just telling people to tweet about joining the baddies and keeping it PG. I still don't care. I'm going to continue to not care. And I think that whoever they find will be so low rate, I'm going to continue to not care. So yes. But then we cut to, after the commercial, Athena and Chris Statlander.
Yeah, they were actually pretty funny. They were literally just making fun of the baddies. Like you can like basically they're pretending to model, and they were just basically mocking the entire production of the baddies and what they're looking for. And even the last part where it's like Jade cut the shit, right? But so you know what, it was funny. I laughed a little bit at this one because again, I don't care about this whole feud, but I just laughed at. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like honestly, someone just beat Jade Cargill for the belt, but who knows when that's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm with you again. It was amusing. I actually laughed a couple times when they were making fun of the baddies when they came back and were talking about what kind of baddies they would make if they applied. Yeah, it was amusing. I don't care about the feud either, but at least you amused me for 30 seconds right before we got to. Unfortunately, it was not 9:30 again. I don't know what now they're starting to do it at 9:20. 2 weeks in a row, 9:20. 9:22, we have Marina Shafir versus Toni Storm.
It wasn't as bad or as terrible as I thought it was going to be. I was just expecting a train wreck, right? Right off the bat, something I want to mention is that I hate Toni Storm's music. I absolutely hate that song she comes out to. Every time it starts, I'm like, oh my god, the song sucks, right? But anyways, that's besides the point. The match itself, it's funny because Nyla Rose is outside the ring, and Nyla Rose did like a splash on Toni Storm, and I was like, oh my god, that looks like it killed, right? But Toni Storm didn't mess up as much as I thought she would in this match. Like you could tell that Marina Shafir is still very, very, very green. And like the stuff she was doing, like, given the stuff she was doing look kind of dumb. it was realistic. Like a lot of the throws she does is actually real. Like some of those kicks when she was kicking Tony Storm, like holy crap, how are you blocking that? She's hitting you right in the chest too, right?
Right.
But yeah, you know what? Again, did I enjoy this match? No. Did I think? But was it as worse as I thought it was going to be? Also no. Right. It did its job by setting up the match for Sunday, the Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa. All right. Thunder Rosa came out for the save at the ending. So it did its job. It's going to be weird because they're both baby faces. So they're both going to, because Toni Storm has the belt and she's kind of like, here you go. And then they had a nice conversation, I guess, in the ring. So it did its job. It set up the match. And am I hyped for that match? No, but you know what? It's good to have like obviously female wrestling there because you need to represent it somehow. And Thunder Rosa is your champion; she needs to be wrestling. And hey, Toni Storm, you know what? Why not? She like Thunder Rosa's faced everyone already. Why not Toni Storm at this point? She's a number one contender. Go for it. So yeah, this match itself again wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was a match.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
right?
you're right. I mean, total props to them for not wrestling a train wreck.
Exactly.
It was okay.
It was okay.
It didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
You're right about Marina Shafir's kicks. She better be careful. She doesn't
I
want to
know.
actually injure anybody. Toni Storm again was passable, looked okay in the ring. You are so right about her theme. You know what it sounds like to me? A rip-off Heart cover band that you know is trying to put out music that they think sounds like Heart because they're so desperate to sound like Heart, but it's bad Heart.
It's
like
bad.
It's just like it's the stuff that would hit like the C-side C tracks of some like obscure box set that only the most hardcore fans would ever want in a Heart box set. It's bad.
It's bad, but you know what? Remember we in our Offspring review, we had talked about writing choruses and melody. It has none of that, and that's what bothers me. I'm like, this is a terrible, terrible song.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like good Heart is stuff like These Dreams, Barracuda, which I hate, but at least it's memorable. You remember the chorus. This is just blah.
Yeah, like remember today. Malaki Black came out by himself and he came out to his original music. And yes, I was like,
that was awesome.
Oh, it's so good. It's the entrance is so good.
Yeah.
And then you have her entrance. You're like, this sucks. Like this absolutely
really
sucks.
Does. It really does.
Yeah.
Do you know his bad theme music though?
Who?
Zack Sabre Jr.
I thought maybe they didn't play the music, his music. They used something else, but I was like, what is this generic generic wrestler music 101? No. Like I don't know.
Again, it's like they were doing the Creator Wrestler and they got Zack Sabre Jr. made, and then they just got lazy with the theme music and left it in as like Wrestler A, and we're like, good enough.
We didn't talk about it, but Zack Sabre Jr. comes out tonight during that promo, right? Yeah. At the beginning. He just came out and nothing.
He came out
happened.
And yelled at Bryan Danielson in the ring without a mic or anything. He just yelled.
I was like, okay. Like, remember when Tanahashi came out a couple weeks back with Punk and he stood there, right? Like that made sense, right? Because you're like, oh my God, it's Tanahashi. This one, you're like, okay, were you coming to do something, Zack Sabre Jr.? Like when Danielson said he wasn't gonna tell you who the opponent was. You weren't just going to go in there and threaten him or anything. You're just going to like point at him. It made no sense. I was like, whatever.
It was more like, let's just stick Zack Sabre Jr. in front of the crowd.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Great. Thanks, guys. Then we got Excalibur inhaling and exhaling as many matches as he humanly could. The entire lineup basically for Forbidden Door. This is where I found out that Los Ingobernables de Japan are going to be the ones that are wrestling with Sting and it's also where we got the announcement of the 4-way for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
They made it official.
Yes, as I wrote down, Excalibur vomits. Okay.
Yeah, he choked up a couple times while he was doing this. Like he was actually messing up.
Yeah, and Toni at the end, that was great. Yeah, can you repeat all that for us?
Do you mind just repeating that for all of us? And then GR was like, I think Excalibur is passed out.
Oh, it was good. And this has got to be a running gag now,
Yeah.
right? You know, they probably hand in the script and go, yeah, by the way, you need to announce all these matches and you've got 30
Oh my,
seconds.
poor Excalibur. Poor
Yep.
Excalibur.
Oh, it's pretty great. And then we moved on already to the main event of the night. We had Chris Jericho and Lance Archer versus John Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
So this match I had said earlier, what like I wasn't really hyped for it. I didn't, obviously I think everyone in the ring, they're good wrestlers, like in it for their own respect. Again, Chris Jericho, as I said, had totally shocked me the previous week, and I've never seen Tanahashi wrestle. This match was good. I mean, it wasn't bad. Everyone played their role. Like if there were a lot of people at ringside. Obviously, it started off with Sammy and Ty there. But it like everyone had their roles. Like it was good seeing Tanahashi wrestle. He wrestles good. I like the moves he does. But you can tell Tanahashi's getting a little bit older, I think, right? And you could see it a little bit as well. Like some of the things he was doing, it looked good, but not as fluid, I think, as he probably used to be when he was younger. But that being said, the match itself was good. It did its job. It kind of hyped everyone up. And it also brought everyone from the back room out, right? So like it ends up being that I knew Tanahashi was getting this win, and the reason I know that, and this is why I made the comment earlier, John Moxley is going to win that match at Forbidden Door. I have no doubt in my mind John Moxley's winning that belt. And the reason I'm saying that is because guess what? Yeah, it would be great, Punk versus Tanahashi. But you know what? Punk's out for a while. He's going to be out for a while. They're going to need someone to defend their AEW belt. And what better story is there than John Moxley's return? His sobriety now, like everything like that. And he didn't pick up the win today. It was specifically Tanahashi who picked up this win, right? So that's why, it's going to be Moxley picking up the win on Sunday. Again, no doubt in my mind that's what's going to be the outcome. And overall, like this match was good. Again, at the ending, all that stuff that happened, I was like, I don't like. But when the match ended with 4 minutes left, I was like, oh, cool. What's gonna happen now? And then everyone ran out with that for that big brawl, and I was like, I get what you're trying to do, AEW, but I don't care. I really don't care. Like I get it. You're trying to hype up that all these guys are gonna be in matches on Sunday. Great. And then Tanahashi and Mox just staring each other down there in the middle of the ring. I was like, great, but it's not doing anything for me. Like this is not like the Okada appearance or anything like that, right? Great. They're hyping up Sunday more than I think. Like I think to them this was more important than anything else. But I just wasn't in it. I wasn't in it at all. So I don't know. Like to me, I'm like, yeah, great. These guys are gonna be fighting, but am I invested in these guys fighting? Not really, to be honest with you, not really at all. So, what you think about the last match?
I wanted to like it more than I did. I actually found myself occasionally bored during it. I think you're right about Tanahashi. It's like I've seen him wrestle better than he wrestled tonight. I felt kind of like he was phoning it in a little tonight. The expressions and stuff were there, but it didn't seem on, and that's okay. I mean, it was decent. I liked Lance Archer a lot in this match.
Yeah,
He was
agreed.
almost a highlight in the match,
Yeah.
right? Because I think he stood out more. He seemed big. His
Hmm.
presence was there. Jericho was good, but
Yeah.
not up to his standard in the last
No,
couple of weeks.
not from last week. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, everyone was just kind of good
Well,
there.
you got to remember that if you think about it, right? Like
Hmm.
they don't want if you're AEW, you don't want another injury before Sunday. So they're probably guys. Hey guys, can you guys try to go out there and not hurt each other at all? Right. So
Right, right. Yeah, it's you're probably onto something there, and it was an okay match. I mean,
yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was nice seeing Tanahashi win with the high fly flow. That was
Hmm.
that was fine. And then we get hijinks, and more
Yeah.
hijinks.
Hijinks. Yeah.
For me, and I know they do this because it's supposed to generate hype, like you said. And it
Hmm.
is such, for me, maybe I'm just jaded, maybe I've been around a long time, the wrestling trope. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, we got a pay-per-view coming, so we need to go off the air with 5,000 guys
Yeah.
milling. I mean,
Yeah.
AEW does it, WWE does it, you know, I've seen Impact do it, and it's just like, okay, we get it. You have a pay-per-view and you're going to mill everyone in the ring, because if I see them there, somehow that's going to make me want to buy the pay-per-view more. Has
Mhm.
anyone done any studies to
No.
determine, you know, whether or not if you put all the guys out at the end, it actually increases your buys? Because these giant brawls where you can't even see what's going on, I find them kind of boring.
They are
And
boring.
that, for me, that was just like, okay, well, you ended a Dynamite where I was hoping, like at this point too, this is kind of where the Kenny malaise set in for me a little more. It's like I was hoping for something else,
Yeah.
and we didn't get anything big
Yeah.
on this show, you know, and it was just kind of like, oh, so that's it. That's where we're heading. Okay. I mean, I'm excited, but you're all just brawling around there. The only part I liked about the end was Mox and Tanahashi in the ring staring each other down, and I swear to God, it looked like Tanahashi was doing his best to make Mox laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. When he was like snarling at him,
Yeah,
I
he's
was like, yeah.
snarling and making faces and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, if Moxley cracks up right now, it's going to be so funny, because it was
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the show.
Yeah.
What'd you think overall?
Overall, I thought it had some good matches. Like, you know, as Dynamite always does. Like they have great matches and good to great matches. Obviously not reaching the Omega level because well, Omega wasn't there and the Bucks didn't even fight tonight. So how would they even get close? The highlights again were again like I need to just be appreciative that I'm seeing Will Ospreay on AEW TV and I've seen him on TV 3 times now wrestle, right? So that by itself has kind of helped me get past the missing Kenny. But think to yourself, what if Will Ospreay wasn't there? What if he wasn't decided he wasn't going to go to Forbidden Door? He wasn't going to be part of AEW's events recently. Forbidden Door would have shaped up to be a lot different than
Right.
it was, right?
Oh
So
yeah, it really would have, because I mean, if you take a look at this card,
mhm,
right, out of all the stuff we had hoped we'd get when it first started versus what we currently have,
yeah,
how much has your hype level for this pay-per-view decreased the closer
it
we get to it?
it has decreased a lot because you remember that last week when Jay White said, "I am not wrestling you, and I'm not wrestling you," to both Paige and Cole, my hype level went off the charts. I was like,
Hmm.
"No way, no effing way!" I was like those kids in the audience.
Yeah. I know, like you and I were spending all this time talking about
Yeah.
all these possibilities and like fantasy booking around Kenny Omega now that Jay White said that.
And now the match is set, and you're right. The 4-way is going to be a great match. You're totally right. But there just feels like there's something missing, and that we know that something is Kenny Omega. And it's weird because the funny part is that Kenny's been gone since November of last year,
Hmm.
right? So he's been gone. We've been obviously counting down the days. We're like, oh, May 29th, he's gonna show up back at it,
Hmm.
and then we find out it's been delayed and so forth. So when Forbidden Door was announced, we are like, this just makes sense. Like, who else like would be the perfect person to be there? And when that person is not, it takes away from the entire thing, right? So that's why I'm a little disappointed. Again, the pay-per-view, as I said, could blow us out of the water. We can come back and say, you know what? This pay-per-view was on the Omega level because it was just so great with all the wrestling and everything like that. But that being said, I'm kind of thinking it's not going to be on that same level. And yeah, you're right.
Right.
My hype level has decreased. Just think about that. Just over one wrestler not being there.
Well, you know what? I think it's more than that, because if you think about the kinds of matches we were hoping we'd get, if you took this from, let's say Kenny Omega was going to be there, right? And we take the card. Here's what we could have had if everybody was healthy. CM Punk versus Hiroshi Tanahashi,
Right?
Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
right? Jay White or Okada or Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega,
Exactly.
right? And then any combination of those guys versus a couple other guys, like say Pac versus Ospreay or something like that, right? Like you go down the card then, and all of a sudden you've got all these amazing dream matches
Yes.
set up that I think we were
Correct.
all salivating for. That's not what we ended up
No,
getting. And I mean, I
no.
get circumstance
Yeah,
can happen. We have a lot of multi-man matches on this
yeah,
show that are not typical of an AEW pay-per-view card, right?
yeah.
And I mean, we'll obviously get into more detail in a couple days when we do our Forbidden Door review show, and we're going to do our predictions ahead of time. But
So I have a question.
yep.
Why didn't they just put the Bucks in the tag team match? Winner take all the belts.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a crazy match.
Yeah, it would have been. I think that that would have been a really amazing match if you
Yeah,
put the right and you know FTR,
Bucks.
Bucks.
Yeah.
Who's in there with FTR?
Roppongi Vice
Roppongi Vice.
and the New Japan tag team champs.
Right, right. Yeah. Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and just make it for all the
all the
belts.
belts, all the belts.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been epic.
Yep.
Right? Oh,
And the Young Bucks walking out with like 6 belts. I mean,
Brandon Cutler would be
yeah.
usple, right? He would be walking out with belts. And
Exactly. Brandon Cutler is always useful too.
yeah, no, the hype levels have decreased, and
Yeah.
you're right. I'm looking at some of the booking, and I'm like, I guess this was done on a whim. Like, I don't understand the Bucks having to just randomly throw out that this is who they're fighting, kind of thing. I'm like, oh, okay, like this, all right.
Zero build.
Yeah, zero build. The belt's not on the line, so who cares? Like,
It's just we're making sure the Bucks are on the pay-per-view in an 8-person match. There seems to be a lot of that, and you know, I'm looking forward to the show. I'm really looking forward to watching it, but I can't say that I have the same hype level I would have had everything been the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think what you just said there is correct. Like, if everything was the way it was supposed to be, and I don't blame anybody for it. Like, unfortunately, it's people got injured. That's the unfortunate thing, right? It's just that I'm thinking about, you're right, what this could have been, right? Remember, I was saying this could be the WrestleMania of like AEW, even though they like New Japan has their like Wrestle
Kingdom.
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom. Like, this could be like the newest WrestleMania because it's just the Forbidden Door and all these wrestlers coming. Anyways, that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be so successful that this was going to be the new WrestleMania. And now you look at it and you're like, it's changed so much that, you know, for the fans who are going to be there, you paid your money before you even everything was announced. It was sold out, right? But you're still getting great matches.
Yep.
But I bet you yourself are thinking the exact same thing. What could it have been, right?
Right. Which means I think we're going to have to go into it with a bit of a shift in mindset, right? We have to accept the things we can't change. And we can't change all the injuries that happened. We can't change the fact that certain people aren't going to be there. So, you know, that said, I have a couple days to get past that. And then realize that I have the potential to see Cesaro versus Zack Sabre Jr., perhaps.
That's true.
I have the potential to watch, you know, Miro and Malaki Black and Pac and Ishii in a ring together to go for a title. That's going to be amazing. I can't see Hiroshi, Tanahashi, and Jon Moxley sucking. Won't be as good as what I was hoping to get, but like I said, I got to leave that aside. The match isn't going to suck.
Yeah, true.
I don't think it is anyway. And, you know, we are getting the Bucks. Any match with the, remember, never bet against the elite.
Never bet against elite. Exactly. That's true.
So yeah, we've got some stuff on this that I think we're going to enjoy a whole hell of a lot watching it. So, you know, I might not be as hyped as I was. I'm still looking forward to this show.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a pay-per-view. So really, you know, there will be surprises. Like, obviously, there are always surprises in pay-per-view. So, you know, like, let's not assume that we know everything is going to happen, because we don't. And who knows what's going to happen when Sunday comes. Like, who knows what's like at the end of the night, or whenever we watch it, like how it's going to play out. So, you know what, you're right. Like I think it is always going in with an open mind, except with AEW, we never had to do this in the past, right? Like, think about this. We never had to be like, you know, let's Let's go into an open mind because we've always been hyped for the pay-per-views. We've always been hyped for the pay-per-views. Even when Kenny was out, we were hyped for the pay-per-views, right? So it's a little bit different now where we're kind of like, yeah, it's still gonna be good, but so yeah, maybe again, we can come out of this on Monday or whenever and thinking that it was the greatest pay-per-view. Or we can come out of it just thinking, you know what? It was good, could have been better, and a good job for the first try, kind of thing, right? So we'll find out. We're gonna find out in a few
We
days.
will find out.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was Dynamite. That's our quick look at the Forbidden Door card. We will have a much more detailed look at the card in our review of Forbidden Door coming up this weekend. And for now, though, it is time for our phrase to sum up the night.
The phrase to sum up the night. You know what? Maybe my phrase tonight is just to simply be just don't overhype anything. Like you need to temper your expectations. Never overhype it because you're really only leading yourself up for disappointment. And as we've said about with Tony Khan a lot of times, sometimes what he thinks will really hype the crowd ultimately falls flat on its face. So don't overhype yourself.
My phrase to sum up the show is, don't tell a wrestler how to do their job because they don't come to the drive-in window and tell you how to do yours.
And I do think Jungle Boy's mom does have the hots for Christian. So
it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
That was the best promo of the night. Sorry. That and Miro, best promos of the night, by far.
Who knew we would be sitting here praising Christian as having one of the best segments on AEW? Like just a month ago, we were constantly ripping the guy, and now it's like he had one of the best segments of the night. That guy was amazing. So yeah,
and that's the thing. Like Christian was the highlight of the night for me, and I thought about it. Like just I didn't care about MJF at all this week. I didn't think about, hey, well, wonder if MJF is going to show up. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he's not here yet still, and it's fine. It's totally fine. Like, I mean, as Christian pointed out, if you think you're that good, if you think you should be paid that much money, then maybe you should look in the mirror and see, are there any matches named after you? Have you done all these things? Are you Hall of Fame? Like, he's right. He's 100% right.
Yep.
Right. And if the answer is no,
stop whining, do your time.
Stop whining and exactly. So yeah. So great promos.
So with that phrase, stop whining, do your time. It is time for us to go.
Time for sign out.
It is. And as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.